Yeah, what's going on, SOCO family? This is your boy JC. Hope everyone's doing well and looking forward to Christmas, most of you anyway. So today I'm going to do a live commentary slash watch-along, reacting to a debate discussion between Piers Morgan and a couple of Muslim amigos to our famous Jihad GP, Dr. Abdul Wahihd. And the reason why I want to make this video is because I recognize one of the panelists, debaters in the show. His name is Abdullah Andalusis, and I think he runs the Muslim Debate Initiative. Those guys hosted the debate between Dr. Michael Brown and Zakir Hussain, a debate that you can watch by clicking on the link notification, which is going to be popping right now. So yeah, I'm curious to learn what he has to say about the Gaza conflict, and I suppose he's also there to support Dr. Abdul Wahihd. So yeah, I really hope that the level of taquilla is kept to a bare minimum this time. So fingers crossed. So I haven't seen the video myself, but I can see that it has already over 700,000 views already. So let's see what the fuss is all about.
Well, joining me now from Tel Aviv is Douglas Murray, the Associate Editor of The Spectator, the co-founder of the Muslim Debate Initiative, Abdullah Al-Andalusi, and Dr. Izzaldeen Abulaysh, the Canadian-Palestinian medical doctor, who's joined me again in the studio. And great to see you. Thank you very much indeed for joining me. Let me start with you, if I may, Dr. Abulaysh. When you saw that interview, what was your response to the fact that it's an NHS doctor working and living in this country who was saying those things?
It's important. I am coming, you know. I heard it. I heard many of your interviews. Jihad, the word jihad. My presence here is jihad.
Oh, here we go.
When I'm coming to meet with you to advocate for my Palestinian people and for saving lives of the people is jihad. And this is the highest level of jihad. The resistance against someone who is invading you, this is the lowest level of jihad. But jihad, when I'm traveling, when I am going to any place, even someone who is dying because of far away from his home is a kind of jihad. When we are fasting, when we are working, work is a jihad. And that's the most important. We need to understand it, not to take it out of the context in the limited understanding of it. When I am invaded with a disease, COVID, what do? I have to resist the COVID. And that's when we face cancer disease, any cancer.
With respect, you would not categorize October the 7th as a resistance.
It's, you know, I condemned the killing of any innocent human being. And for me, I was born, my daughters were killed before October 7th.
Yes, I know.
I was born as a Palestinian refugee before October 7th. My parents were refugees before 48. Yes. They were born in Palestine. So the history didn't start. The world is not created October 7th. That's what we need. And we are today.
But I don't
it's important. But let me continue.
I don't think
let me continue, please.
Right.
Today is the 12th of December. Today is the 12th of December, where we have more than 23 Palestinians. 1,000 are killed, more than 45,000 are severely wounded. Even the damage in the Gaza Strip, as Borrell, the representative of Foreign Affairs in the European Union, it's far beyond the damage in Germany for 6 years. In 2 months, more than that. So even, you know,
that's not true, actually.
There
was far more.
He said that.
Who said that?
Borrell. The representative of the European Union, the Foreign Affairs.
Yeah, but far more people died in World War II than have died.
No, the damage, the
structural damage,
the destruction.
Well, there certainly would have been more damage in Germany in World War II.
He mentioned that himself.
Well, that won't be factually accurate. But here's my question.
Overblowing the situation, the anchor.
It all comes back to me. I'm very happy to platform anybody on this show, right to the point where they try and convince me that what happened on October the 7th was not an act of terror. And when people refuse to concede that point, I find it very hard then to have a civilized discussion. It's why I got so annoyed last night.
Hard to take them serious, Piers.
Well, can we? So if I interject,
killing of my daughters as
or
terrorists?
victimized?
Well, I think it was appalling, and I think
do you consider it as terrorist?
I do not consider Israel to be a terrorist organization.
The killing of my daughters?
I think here's a question we have to ask ourselves, which is, since you have defended Israel's operation in Gaza as self-defense. And since you have...
Don't misquote me. Don't misquote me. I've defended...
So you don't say it's part of their self-defense?
No, let me clarify.
Okay.
I've defended Israel's right to defend itself. Right?
Yeah.
In fact, they have a duty to its civilians after Hamas's repeated threats since October the 7th to repeat it to defend the civilians.
So is the war in Gaza not self-defense, or is it...
Let me just clarify my position so you know. However, I have repeatedly questioned the proportionality of Israel's response.
He has,
as indeed their greatest allies.
But not the response itself.
Now doing.
But not the response itself, though.
I think they're perfectly entitled to go and take out Hamas.
So may I continue my question then?
Yes.
I'll ask you. So since, as I repeat, since you have justified their response, maybe not how they've carried it out exactly, but you justify their response as self-defense.
Their right to defend themselves by taking out the terrorists who committed that atrocity, yes.
Okay.
That's right.
And presumably you refused to call Israel, and you have refused when you've been asked to call Israel a terrorist organization, government, or the IDF.
Are they going to call Hamas a terrorist organization?
Well, hang on.
No. Let me finish my question, please. I have a question for you.
I must clarify.
Go on,
you're
please.
making some statements that are a bit misleading.
Sure.
This country considers Hamas to be a prescribed terror group. They do not consider Israel to be a terrorist organization, and nor do I. So that's the position.
But I'm not asking you.
The United States,
I'm not asking the British government. I'm asking you, Piers.
I don't think
the British government isn't here.
I do not think they're a terrorist organization.
Now let me finish my question.
Ask me if he thinks Hamas is a terrorist organization,
for us to discuss. So considering that you have justified the operation that Israel initiated as self-defense, and that you refuse to call Israel a terrorist organization or a terrorist government, despite the fact that almost as many Palestinians, Gazans have died under Israel's precision bombing, then as Londoners have died during the whole year of the Blitz under German bombing, which wasn't precision bombing, and yet you still say that, well, Israel isn't a terrorist organization. I think the question we should be asking is, should you be suspended? Is it responsible to have a person with your views speaking to the public when you clearly refuse to condemn that which needs to be condemned, which was worse than the London Blitz?
Perfectly reasonable
with precision weapons, and the Germans didn't even have
let's hope you condemn Hamas.
Perfectly reasonable question.
Yes.
And you've asked me it on my show.
Yes.
The fact you're here and able to ask that, I think, is evidence that I'm prepared to listen to people who will look me in the eye and ask me difficult questions.
Well, you didn't know I was going to say that, but anyway, yes.
That's fine, but that's fine. You're perfectly entitled to it.
Yeah.
We believe in uncensored free speech here. But let me ask you the question then, which I asked.
You're not answering my question, but you haven't answered it.
Well, I have. I said I don't think they're a terrorist organisation.
Despite the fact that they've killed almost as many as Germans
did.
You've
asked me a question. Ask him if he condemns Hamas,
Blitz for 1 year with non-precision bombs.
I have given you an unequivocal answer. Now let me ask you if you can give me one.
Yes.
Do you believe Hamas are a terror organisation?
Oh, here we go.
Okay, and I'd like to ask you.
No, just answer my
answer.
Well, I need clarification.
Well, this country is prescribed as a terror group.
How you need clarification?
Are you the British government?
No, I'm asking you to you.
Okay.
Here we go. He's going to be doing a Michael Jackson now, family.
What does it mean?
He's going to be dancing now.
No, you tell me.
I don't know. You're asking me a question.
You don't think they are a terror group?
Ignorant now.
No, I want your definition. What is a terror group?
An act that commits acts of terror. A group that commits terrorist acts. As they did
on
October
the 7th.
One that commits terror attack. All right, fine. So define terror.
Do you want to answer the question or not?
I do, but I want clarification.
No. We all know what terror is.
Please, no.
We all know what terrorists are, bro. Come on now.
We're going to go somewhere with this, right?
Are you going to answer the question?
Yes, once I get your definition. What's a terror attack?
The definition is as is laid down in international law.
Which
is? It's committing an act of terror. Which is terrorism.
Are you asking questions on the definition of?
Well, why don't you tell me what you think it is?
I don't know. You're asking the question.
You have no idea what terrorism is.
No, I want you to answer your question.
I'm saying massacring 1,200 people on October the 7th in the way Hamas did is an act of terror. Do you agree?
So killing civilians is an act of terror?
No, that's not what I said.
So then killing civilians is not an act of terror?
On that scale is terrorism.
Killing civilians is not an act of terror?
You're not going to answer. Let me bring
He won't answer. He won't answer, please. Move on.
We have a third guest.
No, but I want
to
say something.
All right.
What are you going to say, Doctor?
Really,
nice suit, though.
United States recognize PLO as a terrorist and it negotiates with PLO. This is one thing. The second, October 7 happened and many things happened after. Are we here just stuck there as a snapshot and to discuss it, or we want to discuss what after and what can be done in a positive way? That's the most important.
I think they're all important issues, but right now, because of what happened in the fallout from last night's show, I specifically want to discuss the definition of terrorism, Hamas, and whether a British
But
doctor...
Hamas is not the Palestinian.
Look at let him finish.
I'm going to bring in our third...
Let him finish.
Douglas Murray, you're listening patiently here.
Douglas Murray. Oh, go on, Douglas.
First of all, what was your reaction to this interview with an NHS doctor last night on this show?
Okay.
Well, let me first of all say that it's necessary to clear quite a lot of things up because we've heard quite a lot of hogwash in the last few minutes. Firstly, your guest last night is a member of an extremist organization, Hizb ut-Tahrir, which is banned in many countries, including in European countries. And it's also banned in many Muslim countries. It's banned in Pakistan, it's banned in Egypt, and that's because these Muslim governments recognize that it is an extremist group that has a revolutionary ideology that wants to replace government in Muslim countries as well as in...
Let him finish.
Germany.
One European country is banned in Douglas Murray. I'm not going to let you lie to the audience like you usually do. You're going to justify everything you say on this show, Douglas Murray. Right? So please,
I just said
one country
Germany.
It's not banned in Germany.
I just said
it's not banned in Germany.
You're not listening. You're not listening.
Listen.
You're not listening.
To the audience.
Let me
Google it for yourself. You know, Hizb ut-Tahrir Germany,
really
are they banned
weird.
as an organisation?
Look at the guy who can't condemn Hamas.
Is this Mr. Al-Andalusi? Can I just check?
I
can't see you.
It is, yeah.
Is that him?
It is, yeah.
Okay. This is a guy, he's of no significance, but he's a guy who I have seen in studios for years, spouting extreme Islamist rhetoric. Many years ago, he couldn't condemn the killing of the journalists at Charlie Hebdo. Last year, he wouldn't condemn the attempted murder of Salman Rushdie. Now he can't do this. He failed every single test. But let me get on to the question. I'm not going to engage. I'm not going to engage in a fun fight with this Islamist. Let me answer the question that Piers put to me before you try to interrupt again.
Only if you don't mind.
Show some manners.
First of all, I'm not going to keep being talked over by this Islamist blowhard. Let me speak. First of all, your first guest treated us to the first bit of mouthwash this evening by claiming that the word jihad can mean absolutely anything. Nonsense.
Nonsense,
when a big-bearded member of Hizb ut-Tahrir calls for jihad on the streets of London, then they are not calling for an interpersonal struggle with the nature of the divine.
Nothing.
They are calling for violence.
That's right.
Anyone who can't recognize that should be questioned about their own motives. Secondly, we've just been treated to a monologue about casualty figures in Gaza. Where do these figures come from? I'll tell you where they come from. They come from Hamas. It's quite remarkable to me that 2 months after the October the 7th massacre, the Israelis still don't know the precise number of people murdered on October the 7th. There's a reason for that. Because it takes time to work out massacres of that scale. One of the striking, I just don't know if either of your guests are going to allow me a word in.
Because you are lying
Let him
and
finish.
numbers from Israel, from the IDF, which are not accredited.
No. You will,
These are your
it's
numbers.
really interesting hearing somebody who presents themselves as a moderate, being a spokesperson for Hamas. So let me continue. They are Hamas figures. They are all provided by the ministries of Hamas, which is a prescribed terrorist organization. If you want to reel off Hamas figures, then be my guest, but you are not able to mislead the viewers of Piers' show by quoting Hamas figures at his viewers as if they are holy
I am not
writ.
quoting.
Tell him that.
To this
United Nations.
We've been where do you think they get the figures from? Where do you think they get the figures from? Thirdly, I will continue to speak if it kills you. Thirdly, World War II. It is nonsense that what has been happening in Gaza has, as you said in this endless list of fallacies, that there has been more bombing in Gaza, more deaths and destruction in Gaza than during World War II. Do you know anything about World War II? Do you know anything about World War II? In Dresden alone, take one German city. The destruction was on a scale totally dissimilar
taking
to what's
London.
been happening in
that.
Gaza.
And you know,
very, very
to what you
interested.
said, the
I'm
number
very
of the
interested,
Palestinians
and I will
That's
once
healing with
again,
facts.
I
in
will finish this
comparison,
point,
proportion.
He has got his way out of his
this
step.
All right, let me
should remain
ask Douglas
silent
one
on
question.
No, it's
I
important
will
God, please.
finish the point I wanted
Bring
to
some
make.
order
I'm
to the
going to come
debate.
back to you both. Let me
finish
ask
the
Douglas
point
one
I
question.
wanted to make,
Douglas,
because it's
specifically
important
about the
for your
doctor.
viewers.
Douglas.
It is very important for your viewers to hear the following definition. The definition of terrorism is the deliberate targeting of innocent civilians. That is what Hamas specializes in.
That's
that
right.
is what Hamas did
And
on
that's
October
what is happening
the 7th.
in Gaza
Correct,
also.
Mundo.
Is what Israel is doing terrorism? No, for the following reason. And
Why?
again, you can lie about this if you want, but do not expect not to be challenged about it. What the IDF is doing is the same manner of war as the British Army, the American Army, and all other armies in the civilized world. They target terrorists like Hamas, and there are civilian casualties. Yes, there are. But
Because
it
they
is not
hide
the
in
aim of the
hospitals.
IDF any more than it is of the British or American armies to target civilians. And anyone who pretends otherwise is lying to the public watching.
Right, Douglas,
Well
final
done,
question
Douglas.
before I go back to the
Oh,
team in the
peace.
studio here. And it's specifically about the doctor that was on last night.
Yeah,
Whether
yeah.
he should be allowed to continue practicing as a GP when
Jihad
he identifies
GP.
Hamas as a resistance group, wouldn't say that it committed an act of terror, said he didn't even believe that there had been a massacre, and was also quite blatantly homophobic, amongst other things. Well, he didn't. Douglas,
But not Douglas.
Let me ask Douglas.
Let me ask Douglas.
Douglas, the medical
let me ask
association,
Douglas.
the medical
I
association,
will come both to
Douglas.
the
I
medical
have some manners.
association is the one who
Show some manners and
I'm
call.
asking Douglas what his view
Not
is.
Douglas.
What's your
He's
view?
not a medical doctor.
I'm asking Douglas' opinion. Douglas.
Go, Ducks.
Well, you don't seem to be much of an impartial observer of this, I have to say myself. I thought slightly highly of you before you started ranting as much as Mr. Al-Andalusi this evening. I'll tell you what I thought of it, Piers. I think our country has had enough of people like your guest last night. It's not just that he's in the NHS. Why is he in Britain?
Get
Why
him
do
out.
we allow people in Britain to try to overthrow the state who praise terrorism, members of extremist organizations? What has Britain got from this guy exactly?
Exactly.
What benefits
Why
have
you
we
keep
got
this
from
guy?
him?
What
I mean,
benefits?
I
Nothing.
wouldn't
Zero.
want to be an NHS patient going to him. I don't know if any Jews would particularly want to in Britain. I don't know if
Christians.
very many innocent people would want to go to this doctor. But my question is not just should he be able to practice. I want to know why our country of Britain has been such a soft touch for decades that we have Hamas leaders, terrorist spokespeople, Islamist sympathizers like your guest, Mr. Al-Andalusi, and now NHS doctors who are members of groups like Hizb ut-Tahrir that stand on the streets of London, call for jihad, call for Muslim armies to arise. I don't think our country benefits anything from these people. I think people like that should leave. We have no need of them.
Deport.com.
Douglas Murray,
Bye-bye.
thank you very much
Goodbye,
for joining me. I appreciate it.
Islamists.
Let's come back to you gentlemen to
defend
wrap this
yourselves.
up. Let me start with you, Dr. Abdulwahihd.
Alright.
Look, passions run high here on both sides. I get that. But there have to be certain points of agreement, don't there? And one of the things that I find very hard to deal with, like I said at the start of this debate, is when people simply won't accept what we all saw with our own eyes because Hamas put it out on their own videos,
They will deny it
to their own social
all the
media
time.
platforms. What happened on October the 7th was a terror attack. Can we
was.
not agree that?
Answer.
I'm coming here as a Palestinian.
Oh, he's dancing now.
I am not belonging to any faction.
So he's not going to answer.
And Hamas is not representing the Palestinian people. We have to understand it. It's part of the Palestinian people. It was elected with the free democratic election in 2006. Since that time, we don't have any election. We look forward to have election, and we have to respect the election of the people and the choice of the people. If you in UK tomorrow to elect any right fanatic group, what do you think the other people will say to you? If they said no, they are terrorists or they are not accepted, they are part of the Palestinian people. whether we accept or not, we need to have a new leadership, to have a new election, and then it's our choice to do it. What is happening, as I said it clearly, before October 7, after October 7 will never lead to any positive way. It only aggravates bloodshed, more animosity, more pain, more suffering, and more extremism.
I think you may be right. And this has been my concern about the, in my view, increasingly disproportionate response by Israel, is it may have the opposite effect of what they want. It may actually lead to more radicalism. Destroying most of Gaza seems to be what the mission statement is now. I don't see how that helps the situation at all. But I do understand why they want to try and eliminate Hamas. And that's the conundrum.
Well, I'd like to clarify first.
Goodbye, Hamas.
Islamic law very clearly says, and there's no difference of opinion on this for 1,300 years or even more, that it is impermissible in whatever situation to target women, children, elderly, poor, non-combatants, or those not reservists in an army. So even the
why are they hiding in schools and hospitals?
Hamas fighters, which were interviewed on Israeli TV, the broadcast was interviewed, their interview. They said the same thing, that it is prohibited. The issue of October the 7th is that there's a big question mark regarding what exactly happened. I completely accept. Let me finish. What do I mean by this? I completely accept that there was Israelis were killed who were not combatants. It is reprehensible in Islamic law. And likewise, it's reprehensible that non-combatants on the Palestinian side are killed, like, for example, an 8-year-old Mohammed El-Ghul and others in West Bank who were shot by an Israeli soldier. But my point is this, right? And here's the issue, which is Michael Clark, who advises, you might see him on Sky News talking about Ukraine war. He's a military advisor on Channel and also Channel 4. He said that Hamas, the operation, they actually lost control of the operation and it turned into a spontaneous terror attack. I'm quoting him verbatim.
I don't believe a word of that.
Well, this is what he says as an expert.
Giving you my opinion.
I know, I'm giving you an expert opinion.
It was clearly
planned, like I said, the level of takia to be down, but look, it's just takia all over the place. This guy is just...
They did.
Where did Hamas... Do you know that quotation?
You see no Hamas people that day gloating about it? Are you watching the videos?
Yes, I did. Did you watch that Hamas spokesman? You quoted that Hamas spokesman on TV. Did you see what he said about the attack? He said that there was no order to target civilians. What many people...
we know they did.
A general consensus of analysts have shown that there was looters that came out of Gaza who were not part of Hamas.
So my simple question is this. Was it a terror attack?
Answer.
Anyone who killed civilians, should be condemned.
It's a terror attack.
Is it a terror? Yes or no?
Anyone who kills civilians is a criminal.
Was it
a terror attack?
What?
October the 7th.
And we now asked you, said, define a terror attack is that you target
You've
civilians,
had the definition from Duncan.
Yes, okay, you target civilians, right? So then I want to ask, I'll answer that question.
No, answer the question, bro.
Just for sake of consistency,
look at
when
them,
the
bro.
British Army targeted German civilians in World War II, was that terror?
No, because they were responding to Nazi Germany's attempt to destroy the world.
So you're saying that,
so
you're saying that because of who they were fighting, it's not a terror attack to target civilians. Is that what you're saying?
Are you going to condemn Hamas? Yes or no, bro?
I'm saying there's no moral equivalence between us defending ourselves against Nazi Germany, who committed a Holocaust that killed, in fact, they killed 12 million people.
Did Britain launch war on Germany because of the Jews?
Huh?
Did Britain declare war on Germany for the sake of Jews?
Britain declared war on Germany.
Did Winston Churchill, in his ultimatum to Hitler, did he say, stop persecuting Jews? Do you know why? Because at that time, anti-Semitism was so rife that people didn't care about the plight of the Jews. It was only afterwards, after they discovered the death camps and so on and so forth. Don't pretend that the Allies launched this war for the sake of Jews. Anti-Semitism
we only discovered the full horror of the concentration camps towards the end of the war.
I'm only asking.
We didn't save our democracy and freedom.
And
the idea is any moral equivalence.
What are the Palestinians doing?
Listen, the idea is any moral equivalence is ridiculous. But let me come back one more time before we finish.
Okay, listen. You won't answer, please. I can pay you any money.
What happened on October the 7th, a terror attack?
Answer.
I'm telling you
okay.
that if you refuse to
Okay.
call the bombing,
Okay.
the bombing
Dancing
of Dresden as
You
terror
fraud.
attack,
I tried.
then why?
I've
You
got to
try,
leave
you
it
did
there.
try,
That's
Piers. You
hypocritical.
try with these
I'm
Islamists,
confused.
but it's
Call it
difficult to
terror
get those
attack. If you're willing to
Islamists
call
to
it
condemn
terror
Hamas.
attack too,
Listen,
Listen.
let's join each other in
Abdullah
condemning both things,
Andalusi.
including the
Bye-bye,
IDF.
no.
They're doing it as a
I
terror
do
attack.
not believe IDF
Then that's
is a
being
terror
hypocritical.
attack. No, it's
that's
not.
being hypocritical.
Okay, that's your
I'm
view.
happy to condemn
Hamas.
all
your
this
view.
as a terror attack.
Yeah, you're not
But
though,
you
are you?
have to be
You're not.
consistent.
He's not. Go away.
Final
Being
word to you.
inconsistent.
Please.
Final word.
You know, yesterday I was
Go on,
listening
doctor. I like your suit.
to the chief of Mossad and the chief of Shin Bet. And he said, it's because of the failure of diplomatic and political issues. This is important. And there was negligence. And what can we do now? And that's the most important as a medical doctor. We need to stop the bloodshed, to go to serious negotiations,
get rid of
to
Hamas.
use it. What happened October 7 as an opportunity
to
to
have a
bridge the
democratic
gap
election,
between
get rid
Palestinians
of
and
Hamas.
Israelis, and not
Finito.
to repeat it again and again.
I like the ankle
I've
bite.
got to
It's all
end it
over
there.
the
So
place.
thank you. I've got to end it.
Thank you, Andalusi. Thank you for not condemning
Well, you know
Hamas.
what?
Thank you.
I don't think British GPs should be coming on national television in this country and breaking the law by publicly supporting and endorsing a terror group, which is, by the way,
When did he break the
it's
law?
a criminal offence to support a terror group in this
It is.
country.
Yeah, of course.
It is.
He did that last night
By what?
He did.
When did he
by
actually
saying that
support?
the resistance not a terror group.
He
Yeah,
was
they
talking
call him
about
resistance.
Justify
He
what
was
they
talking
did.
about
did.
Palestinians
And
in
that
general.
is a criminal.
He
No.
was talking about
That
He
is
was
a
Palestinians.
talking
criminal
about
offence.
Hamas.
He was
Hamas.
talking about- he wasn't talking
You didn't
about
watch
Hamas.
the interview. Go back and
Well,
watch
leave it for the
it.
police
watch
to
it.
investigate.
Described
But
it.
he took
Yes,
us-
he broke
Palestinians.
He broke
Palestinians
The law. He broke the law.
Equal rights throughout
That's
whole
it.
of
He broke
Palestine.
the
You ask me
law.
why?
He should be
That's
deported
why.
and he should be
Yeah,
removed
I've got to
from
leave it
the
there.
practice.
I've got to leave it there.
Palestine.
Again,
Away,
thanks
bro.
to Douglas Murray,
What a fraud.
to Dr.
Macho
Abdul
Marx.
Wahihd. It's good to see
Thank
you again.
you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
so much.
Abdullah Andalusi, thank you
Pulo
very much for
taquilla
coming
fried
in. I
chicken.
appreciate that.
Nice one, Piers. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Typical Islamists, always playing the victims and always refusing to call Hamas a terrorist organization. And this is because of the hatred towards the Jews. I suppose the good thing about this, about them appearing on live television or shows like Piers Morgan, is that it makes the job for the MI5 so much easier because now they can identify who they are. So that's it, family. Take care. Make sure you give this video a like and a share, and I'll see you next time.